Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to interviewing once again a coach that has been on my show a couple of times and is very intellectual to the point where every time you talk to him, you learn something new. Please welcome Coach Solomon. Coach Sol,
Easy J, how's it
how's it
going?
going today, sir?
Good, brother. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Haven't done an interview in a while, especially online. So I'm just trying to. This is the first everything first for everything right now. I kind of want to talk about there's actually a lot actually I do want to ask about. First, you know you were at Dubai a few months ago. I feel like you for some reason you're always at Dubai. Um, for whatever reason, I think for that case it was boxing, Social Knockout 3.
Yeah,
How was that experience for yourself and the team?
yeah, it was really nice, man. We got a
Mm-hmm.
late call. Obviously, like Mams gave me a call saying that there might be an opportunity for the guys to have a run out.
Mm-hmm.
They might not be fighting like anytime soon on Misfits. Because a lot of the cards are booked up, so he was like, have a chat with Tam
Mm-hmm.
Khan, which I did, and yeah, it was like a really late notice thing, but it was really good. They looked after us really well, so I have to um, be honest on that side. They really looked after us nicely. You know, very can't think of the word. That's it. Very accommodating, man. They just looked after us, so it was a really good experience. Also, like there's a huge Filipino community out there, so
Mm-hmm.
like for Seoul, it was huge because like he, when I mean like a huge Filipino community and following, like they loved him out there. Like we was going everywhere and which
Yeah.
is bad here anyway. But over there, we couldn't even walk through the mall without him getting stopped. And then with Fox as well, he like built a fan base over there, and the people really took to him. So it was a really good experience for these guys.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I'm gonna first start with Fox. I think I have some questions for Salt later. You know, he got his win, third round finish a few months ago on that platform. Um, what do you kind of make of that fight? Is that something that for yourself that you are proud of, or maybe there's some improvements, or what is your assessment of that fight personally?
Yeah, there's always improvements because
Mm-hmm.
no one's ever perfect, and
That's fair.
we
Mm-hmm.
strive for perfection, but we never get there because we're human. The performance was good. It's a late notice fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We only got like I think like 10 days notice. The guy was, very smart with his ring IQ and his defensive acumen. Like, he realized Fox was a big puncher very early on and really put his
Yeah.
earmuffs on. He's quite experienced. He's fought at the amateur level in Dubai, and won the nationals there.
Wow.
So he was experienced, obviously to the level of Fox. Like in boxing ability, I wouldn't say so, but he made it
Yeah,
tough
he so
to
he
get him
won
out
the
there.
you said he won. What was it that he won in terms of the amateurs?
Like the UAE, like the national championships in Dubai.
Really? Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
I don't know
interesting.
what level. It may have been novice level. I'm not
Okay.
pretty sure. I'm guessing that, but like he did win it.
Oh, okay, fair
So
enough.
regardless, he knows how to win, and he knows he's been in there. He's been training. The guy also had his father in hospital at the time, so
Yeah,
he's fighting with a whole different mindset.
I did
So
hear
I
about that.
respect Sultan. He was
Hmm.
a really nice guy as well, very very nice guy.
Hmm.
And yeah, he gave a really good fight, man. Like he was smart. He took shots that other people haven't took from Fox, and he took Fox into later rounds. And I like to see how Fox was relaxed and showed like more other sides to his game. That he isn't just a knockout artist. He can go through the gears and he can bring the gears back down and box people. So yeah, no, he showed good sides to him. But there's always room for improvement, and that's what
Hmm.
we're working on for this next big fight that he's got coming up.
Oh no, for sure. And and what you kind of mentioned, I kind of want to ask, next fight. I think someone on Twitter, or even in this past Miami trip that when I was with him, he was kind of calling out this particular person, and it kind of showed that he really wants to fight. And this is vice versa. When I interviewed him, Lil Cray Cray, right? What do you kind of make of that fight? And is that a fight that we kind of see soon?
And yeah, obviously Craig Cray's got Joey Knight in the tournament
Hmm.
uh, this weekend, the weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that we're going to see that fight. There's plenty of holes that we've seen in Cray Cray, and I'm sure other people have. If they haven't, then that's their problem. But we've seen holes in Cray Cray, and it's a lightweight division, so we're going to fight. We want to fight everyone.
Yeah.
like at some point. And Cray Cray is someone that we want to fight, and you've got to think to yourself, he has a lot of people back him. They really rate him. The
Yeah.
community really rates him. Even whether he's lost fights or won fights, they really rate his boxing ability, and I guess
Yeah.
just the way he is makes people rate him. And we want to, you know, build ourselves off of that because I know for a fact Fox can beat him and will beat him when we fight.
One of the biggest criticisms within making this fight, not coming from me, just the general people whenever I ask about this fight, is that, oh, it's too early for Fox to take this fight. He only has 3 fights. Is that a fair criticism to say when, in terms of the public eye when looking at this fight, or not really at all?
You know what? The thing, if you're going to take the public eye into question, then it can go both ways. Do you think if Fox, for example, I'll ask you a question. If Fox
Yeah,
takes a relatively easy fight next, what is everyone going to say? He's taking easy fights. If he
true.
takes a hard fight, he's not ready for it. But when he wins a hard fight, they're going to say, the guy was overrated. He weren't really that good, and he's already lost to Yadi gangs. So really and
Yeah,
truly, you can't win on that. You just got to do what you got to do. Do
fair.
I think he's not ready for it? Like I don't understand why he wouldn't be ready for it. Yeah, I think I don't think he's not ready. I know he's not ready.
Yeah.
I know he's ready. Like
Mhm.
like Cray Cray is a good fighter. I'm not denying that one bit. He is a good fighter, but
Yeah.
he's not. You lot annoying, man. But Fox is ready for him. Like what? Like Jay, I know you're the interviewer, but do you like, you know, unbiased? Do you think like there's any reason why the fight shouldn't happen?
Oh
Like
no,
why
no,
they shouldn't make it?
I think I'd love that fight, honestly. It'll be a cool fight to see. That's why I say
It's a tough fight. It's definitely a
yeah.
step up. But
Yeah.
like you can't just stay at the same level the whole time. You got to step up.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's why I said when I asked that question, by the way, I just want to preface it's not coming from me. You know what I mean? It's coming from
Yeah,
like
of
when I've
course. No,
talked to
I get it.
people.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. So that's why like personally,
yeah. I think he's ready.
if if that fight happens, oh no, I'd love to see it. You know what I mean? I think it got me really excited for sure when during Misfits 16 fight week because Fox brought it up during a couple interviews and then Cray Cray brought it when I asked Cray Cray about it, he seemed down as well when I asked him the post fight. So
I think
I
Cray
think
Cray would be down for a lot of things, like fight wise,
yeah.
because even if he knows deep down that he might lose just because of his mentality, but that mentality could be detrimental to him because I've noticed some things that um, I feel like would be detrimental to the way he handles
Hmm.
situations, not even so much in the ring.
Yeah.
And that's just down to makeup of like I don't know how his background has been. Like I don't know if it's everyone's had a tough life in some kind of way,
Yeah.
but we all become boxing is psychology, and when you start to understand that, you can start to devise game plans and devise things to get the upper hand. And I feel like I can see that there's certain things that he does. He may be forced into certain situations he may not want to be in at times, just out of maybe pride and maybe ego, even like. But we all have that as fighters. But there's certain things I've seen that I think we will use to our advantage.
For sure. Just one last thing, and then I'll move on. I promise. He got back second chances to the tournament. You know, I just kind of want to hear from your perspective. Is that something that he should deserve, or he should have gotten, or is that something that Mrs. kind of fumbled within bringing him back with a second chance?
I don't think they fumbled with it because
Okay.
I don't know who else they would have put in. I think people, it was a close fight. People were saying against Yadi.
Hmm.
I think it was a good fight, and
Yeah.
obviously he got he got a he got sold short a little bit, didn't he, in the first fight? Let's be honest.
Hmm.
He looked good. Whether Yadi was going to adapt to that in that fight, we don't know. So, like, I feel like it was fair for him to get the second fight, second chance at it, just because of what happened to him in Nashville. I really do.
Another thing I want to get into, right? Saul Poppy. you know,
Yeah.
he's gotten his second win in a row. Especially I think he went against the Savage guy. I forgot his first name. When should we kind of see him back in the ring? Is it sometime soon that we can see him, or what's the ideal timeline that we can see Saul back in?
Big fight this year.
Big fight this year?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what it is then. Um, and also I think one narrative or one fight that uh people really want to see, especially I've seen on Twitter a lot, and it kind of makes sense. King Kenny. I think um, King Kenny, Salt both got their wins in Misfits 14. Salt obviously followed that up with a Social 3, body shot knockdown, right? Or knockout, I should say, or TKO. Let me ask you about that fight. Especially Kenny, he provides stuff with the reach and the jab, and Salt, of how quick he is on the feet and everything like that. What do you kind of make of that fight? And is that something that you guys are ready to take from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we've always kind of wanted that fight.
Hmm.
And I think Kenny, like, I believe he wants to fight now. I don't know if he has in the past, which
Yeah.
is totally fine. Like, there was a lot of rumors going around that Salt was like a 100 belt amateur and stuff when he beat Josh, and obviously, which isn't true. But yeah,
Yeah.
we've been always wanting the fight, not just because it's Kenny, just in general wanting the big fights. Salt's always wanted them, and you know, it's time. I guess they should fight. I think Kenny does want to fight now. I hope we can make that fight because I think the fans will enjoy it. And it's like you said, a stylistic matchup. You got the taller, rangier fighter,
Hmm.
and then you're going to see a clash of styles. I just hope that fight happens, man. Really, that's all I say. Like, I hope it happens. I think it will. I think we're coming to the point in both of their careers where the fight will happen. I think Kenny's kind of voiced it now that he'd be up for it. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it, man.
Nah, totally. And I know also recently, saw Papi, he got engaged, to, his
Yeah.
girlfriend. Before my Twitter account got hacked, I actually did wish him a congrats. I just want to hear from your, like, kind of your perspective on how that day started from, like, start to finish type of thing.
Yeah, so I was already in Dubai,
Hmm.
um, and Sultan that was coming like in a day or two next after. I was with my missus, and
Hmm.
he kind of texted me. Kian was there as well, and me and him and Kian had this little group group chat, and he was like, "Yo, I want
Hmm.
to propose. Like, do you know how I could do it?" And then like I remember saying to Kian, like, "Why don't we get him a yacht?" And then like da 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 da. So we planned it all out, and yeah, that's how it was. Like,
Oh, no way.
she didn't have no idea that it was going to happen. It was really nice, man. I'm really happy for him, and I'm really proud of him to do that. Like, you know, he's she's always been there since the start for him, and one day, inshallah, we'll get to see them have a wedding and all of that kind of stuff. So hopefully,
Hmm.
Salt watches this, and we'll hope to have the wedding this year or next year.
No, that's for sure. And what is it? Kind of going like on the note. I know, Salt, from when you started training him 3 years ago, when his first show starts till now, especially with the transformation physically from, he was a lot bigger to very slim and cut now. I just kind of want to ask in terms of, like, what do you kind of make of that whole progress, and, like, just take me through that whole perspective, kind of like, seeing him, kind of being, I don't want to be rude here, but fat to, obviously trim
Yeah,
down now. Yeah. Hmm.
well, he's still fat by nature. He still loves to eat.
Oh, fair enough. All
But
right.
you know
Fair
what?
enough.
It's sometimes I feel like he's a clone. Like I feel like he's a different person. Like because it's
Hmm.
crazy. Like his transformation is actually ridiculous. Like it's
Hmm.
funny. Like when you kind of get healthier, like even his skin looks different. Like he's got a different color to him, and because he's healthier, obviously. But
Hmm.
it's just a credit. I'm going to be honest. It's a credit to the person that does that, because of course he needed guidance. Of course he needed people to show him like the way. But at the end of the day, he still had to do it himself, and it's a
Yeah.
huge credit to him because um he's come a long way, man, since Showstar. He fought for free on Showstar, and like because he just enjoyed doing what he's doing. And normally people that do stuff like that do things for free. They normally love what they do, and they normally get good things come to them. And that's what's happened with Salt. And I'm really actually like overly proud of his journey that he's made. And it's a good role
Hmm.
model to have in the camp as well. Now he's a role model, which is crazy to think about. Like
Wow.
because he's kind of set a standard. But yeah, no, he's a role model. Like at
Yeah.
first, it was just he was the first guy in the gym, and then we had Halal Ham for a little bit, and then AJ joined, and
Hmm.
then Fox joined,
Yeah.
and like Salt's like someone they kind of look up to
Mhm.
because of his work ethic. So yeah, really,
Mhm.
it's really, I'm really proud of him.
Um, one thing, a person that Salt kind of shared the ring with, right, was Anthony Taylor. Just had his fight with Gabe Silva. You were obviously in the corner, right? I'm just gonna come up with this nickname right here. You had that Coach Soul effect in this fight, right? Obviously getting that knockout round three. Uh, how did you kind of make that performance? And also, what's the story of, you kind of cornering AT?
Yeah, so I'll start from I guess the second question, like
Yeah,
cornering
no,
him. It
go
was
for it.
he called me like with a Samuel Erickson, and like he's always spoke to me about advice about fights and stuff, and we've always got along, me and AT.
Hmm.
And yeah, so he went and beat Erickson, and he called me after the fight, and he was like, "Yo, coach, I want you in my corner for my next fight. It's going to be Gabe Silver." So I was like, "Yeah, I got you."
Hmm.
Um, One thing I knew about Anthony after he fought Salt is that he's a guy that really adapts and does anything to kind of win. Like he literally just will do anything to win. So I think he's quite an intellectual guy on the side, like where he knows what he needs. So it was really nice to meet his coach and coach's son, Dynamite Lopez. That these guys are serious guys, and yeah, like that's how it come about. Um, we bounced ideas off each other on fight day, and everyone was kind of on the same page. And then when it come to the fight, the performance, I think it was the best we've ever seen him.
Hmm.
I think he looked tremendous. He had three people in the corner that was like all working together, me, and the Lopez's, and we was bouncing ideas. And yeah, man, like he looked really good. Like,
Hmm.
who would have thought that AT would land a shot like that and drop Silver? Like it was like a little bit Salt Pappy-esque, wasn't it? Step back counter.
That's crazy.
And
Hmm.
he's got a lot in his locker. He's got a lot in his locker. I'm very proud of his performance, and we've always got along. We've always got
Hmm.
along, me and AT and Salt as well. He's just, but he's part of the team, man. He always said that if he was living in the UK, would train with us. He'd always be welcome as well, man.
That's awesome to hear. Kind of actually, I
That's
do
him and his
want to.
coaches, by the way.
Yeah, and actually, I was gonna say because obviously you were helping out, with his coaches, right? Him, AT's coaches and you. How do you when there's two coaches, obviously from like two different gyms, how do you kind of work with each other in terms of fight night? Because I feel like maybe some
Yeah,
coaches have like two different mindsets of how the fight should go or how the fighter should fight. So how does that usually work when you're working alongside with another coach heading into a fight?
I think you. I think like being a good coach, it comes down to like knowing your boundaries as well. Like I'm not
Hmm.
AT's head coach,
Okay.
Mr. Lopez is, and he's done a great job with him. So
Hmm.
like, first of all, I got a gel with Mr. Lopez. That's the
Yeah.
key thing. So like, we watched fights, showed him stuff about Salt and Fox, and he was like, "Whoa!" He got me to show his son some of the tricks that I taught these guys. So I
Hmm.
realized he was very receptive. And AT was asking stuff on fight night and
Hmm.
advice and things. Then when we were ready to go out, I just said to like Mr. Lopez, I was like, "Look, um, I'll stay quiet. Just let me know what you need and anything." He was like, "No, no, no." He goes, "If you see anything, just let me know. So if you see anything that needs, tell me." So
Hmm.
that's when I realized that the guy is a good coach. And I'm not bigging myself up like myself because he's receptive to other people, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that take advantage of the likes of Mr. Lopez because they maybe try and overstep their boundaries because he is receptive to information. They might be like,
Hmm.
"Yeah, what you've really got to do is this." I would never say something like that. I think that's disrespectful. Um,
Yeah.
Everything he's taught him quite clearly is good.
Hmm.
I was just telling him what I was seeing, like patterns from Gabe, what I'm seeing in the ring, or what Anthony might be. I think maybe if he's dropping his hands or he's crossing his feet or whatever like that, little things. I'm not telling him how to fight. I'm not. The
Yeah.
game plan is devised by Mr. Lopez, so that is the key thing, bro. And there's a lot of coaches out there that I've been around a lot, bro. They'd be like, "Yeah, really good fighters, your fighters, but what I reckon they've got to do." And you know
Mm.
what? It's kind of mentally draining, man. It's like, bro, like they're doing it. Like, why you got to
Yeah.
it's very disrespectful to do that to a coach, you know.
Hmm.
And I would never do that to Mr. Lopez. I'd always have, I've got a lot of utmost respect for him, um, and especially the way he handled like that whole situation. Bro, I was just at the back. I wasn't even sat next to Mr. Lopez. I was giving his son the advice to pass to Mr. Lopez, and then he was relaying it to Anthony. That's how it was working. I didn't
Oh
come
wow.
near the ring in between rounds because I
Hmm.
didn't want to like have that, like because it can
Yeah.
confuse the fighter. If he's learned
Hmm.
something over the last 10 weeks, and then I
Yeah.
come in and be like, "No, what you've really got to do is this." He's
Yeah.
gonna lose, bro. Because if he's in two minds,
Hmm.
he's screwed. So you have to be very diligent with how you approach it, and I think that's the best way,
Hmm.
like how I did.
For sure. Actually, I want to follow up with that question though about the coaches aspect, right? Um, in Fox's fight back in 13, I've seen there were more than just one coach, right? You and Gary, and you kind of
Yeah,
mentioned about knowing your role, especially. How do you kind of figure like with the Fox fight, right? It who kind of takes initiative, more of telling you know kind of like kind of telling people like their not I want to say telling people their role uh but I would say for the coaches themselves to kind of know their role within their oh sorry
but yeah, I am listening to everything.
okay
It's the same situation of Gary Olive.
same with Gary okay got
Um,
it
he literally he respects the job that I do. He respects me as a coach, as a
yeah
friend, as a brother,
hmm
and he's there for Fox to win. And he will just relay anything that he might see. That same way,
yeah
you know, I'm head coach. I devise a game plan. He watches. He's like, "What? No, that's really good." Da, 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 da. Then the fight goes on, and he might see something, and he might give me, "Yo, coach, like he's doing
hmm
this." So it's the same thing. He's very good at what he does. He's a very good coach in his own right. And again, he's a very good coach because he's like that. He doesn't need to overstep boundaries. He's never ever said to me, "What I reckon Fox should do or what Schultz should do is this." He's never ever said that to me, and I've never said that to him about 10 fights.
got you what makes you oh I kind of want to ask you from that aspect too you bring Gary Olive into that Fox fight what was the I just kind of want to ask from that perspective why you kind of brought Gary within this
It was
Fox fight
he was
not in a
involved in the
bad way
first
by the
fight as
way
well.
just
Yeah,
I'm very
he's a
curious
great coach. He's a
hmm
great coach. He's very underrated again because he's outspoken and he's real. Makes it, people might underrate him for whatever reasons. He's a very good
yeah
coach, very good boxing brain. He was actually involved in the first fight against Jay as well.
oh wow
He
okay
didn't get out in time because he was watching Elle Brooks' hand wraps while AJ was getting hers wrapped. But Coach Wiggles was in the corner instead.
hmm
I think you might remember him being there, who's part of Gary's team.
yeah no
But
I
yeah,
remember him
we're part we're a whole big team to be honest.
hmm That's awesome. Okay, that's cool. I was very interested in that kind of aspect of when you, um, whenever I see like a fight team coming into to let's say like a fight or just a fight week in general. But speaking of fight week, right? I was actually one thing I did kind of take note during it was especially during the open workouts. And I'll name this instance right back at 13. Fox when he was fighting Evil Hero and most during the public workout. I
Yeah.
remember you were kind of telling people to kind of go around the ring and obviously just kind of watch their open workouts. They didn't really do much. But ideally, whenever that happens, what's kind of the main thing you really look for in terms of, fighters' open workouts when you go against them?
Sometimes people don't give a lot. Sometimes people
Okay.
try and impress, but you can
Yeah.
always gauge when one of those two things are happening. A lot
Yeah.
of the time when they impress, it's because of ego. We don't really give much away. Sometimes we do now, just because we don't care, like because we know like the fight is ready.
Yeah.
We're just trying to suss them out, really, suss them out mentally. Um, if we see some crazy, stupid shit like crossing the legs or whatnot, of course we're going to pick up on that or patterns they may do. But really, it's just to psych them out mentally and see where they're at.
For sure.
It's all mental,
And
Jay. It's all mental. This game. It's not really too much to do with physical at all.
hmm Yeah. What's the if you don't mind me asking, like, what's the ratio that you would say in terms of mental and physical?
Probably 80-20.
80-20. That's fair.
Yeah.
I've always heard that, boxing is more of a mental sport than really it is physical.
Yeah, but I think people just say it sometimes. They don't really understand what comes with it, but it really is.
Hmm. For sure. What would you say is the biggest like attribute to having it being more of a mental sport than it is really physically?
You just need to be able to adapt mentally to just different fights, different situations, different camps, different press conferences,
Hmm.
approaches with different fighters. Um, being mentally strong can look many different ways,
Hmm.
you know. But the key thing is to be able to adapt and know the right way to act in certain situations. And when you do that, that's how you approach. That's how you approach. We got to approach every situation, every fight differently. They're never the same.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay then. Fair, totally fair. And just one last thing on the like public workout thing. I remember hearing this in an interview, when you were going against Josh Bruckner. I'll quote it just, just so I can kind of hopefully kind of recollect something, right? You said, quote, the fight went how I quite expected, to be honest. This is after the fight. We saw things of Josh before. Surprisingly, I have seen things at the open workout. You furthermore elaborate saying that there was things that he did in the open workout, which are quite decent things that he could do against a southpaw, like throwing a 1-2-1. And then
Yeah,
later on, you kind of said that you expected him to do that, which really got Salt the win.
yeah.
And that's what I want to kind of touch on more is, when Josh did that 1-2-1. How are you kind of like sure of that? Sure of him doing stuff like that during the open workout to kind of adjust and kind of get him on the night.
Well, we didn't. I didn't expect him to do it. I knew he would try
Oh,
and use
okay.
his jab
Mm-hmm.
because he's a taller, longer, rangier fighter, and he should. But we took away the
Mm-hmm.
jab with the same time hook. If you watch the fight back
Mm-hmm.
early on, when Josh jabbed, Stolt would throw a right hook over the top and catch him, so that would
Mm-hmm.
stop him jabbing. But then I realized he was doing that 1-2-1, and then obviously we'd already talked about it. Like if he does do that, time him on the last one. So after the one
Gotcha.
two, punch with him on the one with the left hand and time him and sit down on your shot, and that's what got that knockdown. So yeah, obviously you can't expect them to do it, but if it's there, it's in your memory bank. Like, okay, if he does that, then we're going to do this. But yeah, the key thing was taking away Josh's jab, which we did, and as soon as that happened, he made the mistakes and made the openings for Salt to exploit.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Okay. Okay. Just a couple more questions, right? Josh had his fight this past month, or not this past month, I should say, back in August against Temper. When I talked to him about it, he said he'd rate it. I think he said he'd rate that performance a C. Is that something that you agree with too when you watch that fight against Temper?
I don't know what I can't really tell what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Um, because obviously he's not my fighter, but from what I kind of can gauge, I think yeah, maybe it's probably a C. You know, he looked more aggressive, but he was being aggressive against a fighter that I believe folds under pressure. Which is, at the same time, that's what you got to do. He did the right things.
Mm-hmm.
No point letting face temper get into a rhythm and get comfortable because he doesn't like being uncomfortable. And really and truly, it looks like he's improved a bit. I'm going to be honest. I couldn't see a lot of improvements. There's more in, okay, let me just be aggressive, but doing it
Yeah.
against a guy that will not shy away will prove to us how much he's actually improved.
Mm-hmm.
On the on the other hand, face temper, bless him, like he's a good guy,
Yeah.
really nice, respectful guy. It just seems like they didn't work on those things, man. Like he's just not
Mm-hmm.
comfortable under pressure. Like when he's uncomfortable there, he started punching with Josh. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
what I would be telling him to do. And I think it cost him the fight that night. So I think Brackner made the mental adjustments
Mm-hmm.
and face temper didn't. Again, we're going back to mental. I don't think they both of them looked any different physically, really. They were still
Mm-hmm.
making similar mistakes, Josh was as well. But they made the mental adjustments on Josh's side, and I don't think they did on face tempers.
Oh, fair enough. And then lastly, right, for the rest of 2024, what are some
Fucking
goals?
finally. No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
sorry. You
I'm
know,
joking, bro.
no, I was just gonna say it's a pretty simple question. What are some goals that you have for the rest of the year? Either as you as a coach or for you personally, what you want to achieve?
Um, yeah, just there's going to be a couple of big fights. Just make sure these guys do
Hmm.
as good as they can, get the wins. Me personally, just peace of mind. And that's all you want in life. So peace of mind, be happy, be around good people, get closer to Allah, and all of that. Really, bro.
Totally fair,
That's
man.
all.
Coach,
That's the. If you do all of that, then you're all good, Jay.
hmm Totally fair, man. Coach Soul, just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day
Thank
to
you, Jay.
do this
Thank
interview.
you. As always, I
Yeah,
always
man.
love doing interviews with you, man. Like
Hmm.
I've been just to say I've been asking for this interview, not Jay. It's
Yeah.
what
No,
love
and
like
I
for you.
mean, listen. I want to do one, of course. Now finally, I think it's been like almost a year since we've done an interview.
Dang.
So
Yeah,
like an online interview, I think we did the first time I did it with you was in November. So it's September
yeah,
now, 10 months.
that's
Yeah. So
crazy.
it's always great, always fun having you on the show. And for everyone listening here, thank you. If you have made it this far, thank you guys so much. The goal for the subscribers at least, right, is to get to 10,000. So if you can, please hit
Let's
the
get it.
subscribe button, get to that goal. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video.